Y'all may come to note that since my last video, I've had my workout at the gym, I've showered, I've shaved a little bit, so kind of get little things taken care of there, and got a couple more faces drawn in on some wise men and little more steps we take along here. And just for the record, let you know that after a long day, I kind of got a little tired at the end of the day and felt it my conviction to rest for the remainder of the evening. So kind of got back on this morning just to do a little something quick before I go into work, but decide I'm going to carve out these faces on these wise men here, and got a little way to go just to make the little eye come in, and right along that line, work right along there, come along this line, make another line along there, put another place in to make it come out neater, and finally go down to the point where we make the cheeks right below the eyes, and that being a step we take when we go to carving a wise man or a king, just for a little step that we take to work our way into things and see how good they're going to be, how they're going to become, how they're going to turn out. And some of this, sometimes I think I see little design in my work that sometimes takes me back to the 80s, to when I was a kid, things I used to see in all those stores we used to go shopping in, and all those old days, and think about how some of those businesses no longer exist, but how they have come around for the times they have. And then you'll see that just a lot of old memories to come. Kind of got the little place made out in there. Kind of think, in a way, to me, he almost looks like King Friday from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood or whatever, but it's not who he is. He's just simply a Nativity wise man. I say that we got places here where we put the little nose in and make it where we just put the little place in that makes his little brow kind of come and shine a light on us. And I say this is just one of those things where the king shall come along and make his way to us. Got little places to go here along these little pencil lines. I think we're going to try to remove those pencil lines the best we can and come down to where we see that the king is just an awesome little figure to himself. Bless the king. And we know that this is just one where we come up with this, I say, and then just put in another little line of work and make it so that it's just going to be a little time when we get the little place done in its little place where we kind of got the little note to do, and then come and then make the little other face to this other coffee tree wise man, and kind of do a little ways when it comes to that, and then come to the point where we get about as much work done as we need. There's still little pencil lines right above the brows, so gotta come by and get rid of those again. And just to let you all know, I go to work again in a little bit, so I go in at 11, so, or 11:30 now. That's kind of the way my new schedule works at my new cafeteria, so I'm kind of liking it that way, liking the new hours, and I save all things, you know. People were kind of happy for me that I got to move to what for me would be a much better place. Oh, I say that this is just one thing where I come along and see that it's just what we need for a little king and a wise man, you know. And up here there's some pencil marks up above the sleeves again, so gotta get ourselves rid of those wherever they are. Just kind of take it so they come away and make it so we're just working in blessing children indeed. Oh, I say, oh, what a great work we have. Oh, what a good, gracious King we have. Oh, what a righteous world we have to live in. I say, bless the child and all the things he has with all himself, and blessing children indeed, and making little territories just shine a light on us, and then kind of see how we're going to roll along. I think we're going to take some sandpaper and go along here a little bit. There's going to come a time at the end of the day when things will be uploaded from here, and we got a little face on here, and we gotta work our way up about this one too. Get rid of all that's on him, get rid of all the little areas of little shining clay and things that shine in his little bosom of light. And oh, kings are going to be little special things. One thing I need to tell you all about this particular type of poplar is when it soaks, it gets real dark, almost turns black, so it could end up almost looking just like the walnut one, but we'll probably have at least one king that will be in a distinct color, so that'll kind of make us have a little difference here and see a little ways. But I say that perhaps it would be a good time to take a little break in this video and maybe come on and record the next part later. I might do the walnut one in the next part and maybe the poplar in another one. Well, it's not going to be that many minutes before I have to go into work, so I decided I'd go ahead and put on my work uniform for when I go out in a little bit, and decide while I'm at it I'd go ahead, kind of take care of these little things, and just try to take care of the little walnut wisemen now. Took a little break in the video there to go and do a few things before work, and I'd say that this shouldn't take too many minutes to do, but I'm going to demonstrate along here the way we come along this little area for the eyes. And these pieces of walnut are not quite as hard as those pieces of Kentucky coffee tree we did a little while ago, but I'd say that this kind of work is coming in its way, and we see that there's some little work to be done, and we kind of get a place where we work in what we do. And I say, oh kingdom, I say, there's all these old songs we sing about old hymns and things. I feel like there are some of those songs we don't sing these days as much as we used to, but I know one thing I find out for sure is that there's going to be times when, you know, even secular artists will sing religious carols on their albums, because that kind of is what the market looks for and how they kind of go about all they do, making it so we see little brighter days and brighter nights. Probably should be using this little detail knife to do this work instead of the roughing knife, so just got a hold of that and kind of say that this is where we're taking this along, and just for a little work we do, it's just kind of where we see that these little things are just going to be bright, friendly reminders to us all of the good and bright things we see and do in life. I say, oh, I tell y'all, and just for some little bit of friendly work, I tell y'all that this is just one thing that I know that it's going to brighten us. Oh, little world, I say that we got a little brightness in our souls and brightness in our kingdom and stuff, and kind of make it so it's just going to be a little good sense of character to you and me, and see how we're all just working out the ways we have of things, and all we do. I say that work is just kind of taking its way with us, making us so we see a little king and queen and everything else. We suffer all ways in life, we know all we do, and oh, I tell you, all little time and work we put in to our little good timepieces. I say, somehow or another, it's going to make these things stand out to be what they are. And we've got a couple of eyes to carve out here in this one, hoping sooner or later to kind of have this series done with. Do like to mention to you all that it's getting a little bit colder today than it has been here in Kentucky, and I'd say it's going to be getting a little bit more that way as the week goes on. We don't know how much more it's going to be that way as we move along with these weather conditions we're under, and see how it's all going to be when we all get done with the places where we are in life. And taking care of what we know, what we do. Oh, bright sunny days up ahead, making their ways for us, I say. And I tell y'all that this is just how little kings shall come along to make it so we're brightening ourselves, brighten our lives. Oh, to work on this self. Oh, the time. Oh, the time. Oh, this work is just kind of getting a little crazy up our sleeves and ways and life and all. And oh, days we all see things that brighten us up and still do. And for our lives, I say, we figure out how we go about these things. Make it so we're just working a little ways up the clock and finally getting down to the very last little strobe. I think we're going to sand along on these. This might add a little bit more time to this section of the video, but I say that we got to have a little work to come along in what we have, what we do, and at least we've got this pen in here so that I don't ruin my uniform before I go to work. And I'd say that, you know, it's like you don't want to take a lot of wood shavings and dust into a school cafeteria kitchen or into any kind of food prep area where you work, because that would be the kind of thing our health department would be against. So I say, with all the work we have in our lives to take care of us and other people around us, you know, this little work makes its way around, sees things, does things. Oh, and I just can't wait to show you all more. And then we'll kind of be done sooner or later, get things where they ought to be. Kind of trying to watch the time here, because it's not going to be too long till it's going to be time for me to leave. But I'd say we got the two little walnut ones to come along just fine, and the poplar is soft, so it shouldn't take as long. So I'll probably be back later this afternoon with another little clip to work on those, and hope you all take care until then. Take care. Okay, so I've already gotten through my work day, all right. I say it's been a little colder today, like I said it would be, a little mistier, a little moister, and probably rained once or twice today, but not much. And I say it's just a time when, for the third part of this video, I come on to do these little poplar wise men. I even mentioned before that the poplar is going to darken a little bit once it gets kind of, you know, oiled or soaked or something. So that's how we just work along to do this, and see how little wise men, kings, can come out and make their way to us. And so work on this little time and make things so we're going to see the good come out. We probably just got a little more chipped off there, but that's okay. We're going to chip the rest off anyway once we come down to it. And then I say just put a little time and work and effort into making the rest of the king to come out the way it really should be and ought to be, and then kind of make it so we work along to kind of show a little grace and mercy and truth to the one being that the kings came and brought the gifts to. There was all this different discussion over the years as to how gift giving at Christmas ever got started, but you know, there's been different things to be said. Some people say that it started with the wise men bringing gifts, and nobody really knows for sure exactly what the origin of it all was, but I'd say that there were little differences we came across as far as what we all believe, what we all come up with, and some people say it started with Father Nicholas. I kind of did a little song based on that, and that I recorded back in the day, and so he was one that we all kind of knew, the old bishop in Myra back in the 4th century, and he was just who Santa was based on. I say that as for a little work we got done now, I've got a little places in here, and you see that I got the little nose put in for a little character like this, and so all the little characters of life that come from different things, all the legends based on people and all the little good they did. I say that this is where we come along on this little king, and there's just a little place where we make another little line to come across here and go across the little eyes, and of course all we really have is just little slants here, little cuts in the wood. Don't think we're going to have any real eyes come out, but we'll just have to kind of say that if nothing else, this is how good he's going to be when we get him all done, get the work made into him, and see how he's going to be a bright little symbol for us in the long run. And nativities are good little things to work with and to make, and I say that there's just times when little life shall come in its own form. Even Jesus Christ, he was God in the flesh when he came to earth as a baby. Sometimes, just sometimes, I tend to work on things a little early, you know. Sometimes even earlier in the year I'll work on Christmas stuff, even around time for Halloween or whatever, but it's always good to kind of have it when the right time of year comes along, because that's what probably sells the most. And I mean, it's interesting in ways, but you know, people are a little bit willing to buy it all year long too, you know, and at different little random times, I say. And so as for how this little bit of work comes along, we got the nose in just right where it needs to be, kind of come along here, carve along these little edges. Now I say that there's just one little work or two we got to do to make out a little face or so, and put a little time and effort into the king or the wise man or whatever he's going to be, and then try to get the work where it's kind of making its way to us, seeing us in all we have and all we do, and make of our kings what we want to see in them for the far future, the years to come, the times to come. Oh, the things in life that we see of all things, you know. And I'd probably also say that it's probably getting pretty close to the point where we can be about done with these wise men soon. Of course, there's going to come a time when we're going to kind of, you know, put the brand on their backs, and then sort of, I'd say, just put the little years and stuff underneath. So I'd say that it's probably coming close to a time where we can probably end this video now and have little work to go along and do. Hopefully sometime I might be able to give a demonstration of the branding iron on the video, but it's the kind of thing, I mean, it just requires a little more attention and focus, so probably be a little hard to do on video. And you know, you kind of have to make sure you get it right, but you kind of have to make sure that you don't burn yourself in the process of using it. So you just have to be extra cautious. You can't cut yourself short. And so with these little objects, I say we work along the rest of the way. Just to show you all one thing I already did, I put chestnut and the year and the initials into the lambs. I put sassafras, the initials and the year, into these mangers. So we've got little tiny glass jars that each of these sets can go into and soak in the oil when it's time for them to do so. And this is becoming the kind of thing where this work will show even more as far as how we do. If you get the chance and it so interests you, I'd like for you to subscribe to this channel and take care and be safe. See you in the next one.